I ain't even finna do the introduction because we passed it. Um, so I just got through reading your book,
Which one?
Daddy Maybe.
Hey.
Yo, yo, how how many twists can you put in one book? What made you
um,
write something like that? Like this goes from infidelity to it's not really infidelity, but it's a second chance, but it's still infidelity. And then you got kids involved. It's crazy. So what?
so it's a funny story. It's a Facebook group called I See You Reading and Chatting with
Mm-hmm.
Ebony Evans.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all heard of her Facebook group? Well, anyway, she does these freestyle Fridays,
Mm-hmm.
and she'll put like just thank you, Shannon.
She did.
She'll put just like pictures of like different things, and then the authors are supposed to freestyle a little like short. And so that prologue is actually from a freestyle Friday I did in the summer. And everybody in the comments was like, um, make this a story. What happened next? What had happened? So right at the prologue where JC Xavier, that was the freestyle. And so
I'm not. I'm not gonna tell y'all. I'm not telling y'all everything. I'm not. I swear to God, I'm not. I couldn't
but
even
go ahead
explain.
and download it. Make sure y'all had downloaded it.
I can't explain it to you, but I advise you not to go on TikTok and look at my reviews on Sunday because I am gonna spoil it.
Well, it's another TikTok that had me. I wish I remember her name, but I was afraid to post it today. I'm like, I'll give them a week. But she had me weak when she went through. She was like, "It's messy like a Tyler Perry," and then she used a clip from Tyler Perry when Bow Wow found out.
Byron.
Yes, yes, it was. Yeah, so I was like, "Oh my God." I'm just glad people are reading and engaging with it because, as you can tell, I'm still growing my platform.
Yeah. I and okay. I got sidetracked because I read that book and I was so excited about that book. That wasn't supposed to even happen in this conversation till way
Oh,
later on. But yeah, I was so excited about that damn book. That
hey,
and it's up there because Fireman's Ball is my book. That's the book, my book. That's the book.
yeah, y'all be fighting over Marshawn.
I don't who fighting because I would no. Ain't no fight. That's mine. And I'm gonna stick beside him. Quit playing.
Marshawn, Marshawn.
But okay, let's get into this. How long have you been writing? Like, where was your aha moment that said, okay, I want to start writing. This is for me, and this is the type of style I want to write in.
Love this question. It's like it's a two-part answer to this question. I've been writing since I could read.
Mm.
So I've been writing stories since I was like 6, 7, 8. I was the kid who loved to go to the library. I'm talking about weekends, Saturdays. I would just be up in the library, and sometimes I would just be playing, with other kids. That was our way to be away from our parents. But I've always loved reading and writing short stories. I'm talking about even applying to college. I was excited about them little stories that you have to write.
Mm.
Um, I didn't pick that as a profession. I went into the
Mm.
medical field, but I still loved having writing assignments. I just had it in my brain, our culture, that's not a real job.
Mm.
And all the imagery I got of artists, of writers, even singers was broke. You're not going to be able to take
Mm.
care of yourself. So it
Right.
wasn't until the pandemic when my husband was like, what happened with Rashad and the girl in the college route? I started that book early in our marriage.
Mm.
And so it wasn't until 10 years later that I finished it. And it was because we had nothing else we could do. It was the pandemic. So I've always written stories. I just thought, I looked at them like it was journaling, if that makes sense. There was
Mm.
nobody in my life who read romance. There was nobody in my life who wrote books. So
Mhm.
I would just make up stories. And so once the pandemic happened and I finished it, I don't know if you realize, but my first two books were completely from the male point of view. There was no
Hmm.
dual point of view because I didn't know. And so I had my husband read it to be like, is this realistic? And he was so invested in the storyline, he never told me like if it was realistic or not. And then I had my cousin read it and she was like, publish it. And I was like, girl, first of all, this needs to be edited. And so that's basically how I started writing. And once I said okay and I got both of their feedback, then I just joined IG and
Hmm.
the rest is history because I don't know if y'all know this, but I had no idea who B Love was. I don't know if
Hmm.
she knows that. I was just on IG and it was like submit 3 chapters. And I was like, oh. And then once I was had a contract and I realized what her catalog was and what she was capable of, I was like, it was a blessing because otherwise I would have been too intimidated. I would have been like, I don't belong
Hmm.
with them. Like, yeah. So I kind of did it backwards.
You write so well. Your stories are very captivating in the sense that even from a male perspective or a female perspective is realistic. And that's the one thing that I love about authors, especially indie authors. Y'all write from a point of view where it can come off very realistic, like something that can happen every day. Everyday
Thank you.
situations. Because even when a Negro is crazy in a relationship, but he loving on you, you still that's some realistic stuff, especially
Yeah.
in Black communities.
Yes. Thank you, Shannon. And hey, A Blossom. Hey, Amber. I see y'all. I see y'all.
So I I didn't do your introduction.
Oh,
Introduce yourself. I'm look. I've been waiting to talk for a minute. I wanted to
y'all.
talk to you when Fireman's Ball came out because I had,
Hey.
and so the review you saw for Fireman's Ball was really me. Like, yo, your book
Hey.
is good, okay? Because
Thank you.
when I saw you posting on IG, that cover really got me. I was like, okay, okay. Then you was posting little things about what it was gonna be about. I said, let me go ahead as soon as this come out and get on this. And I wasn't disappointed. It was really good. So
Thank you, sis.
so please introduce yourself, what genre you write in, and how long you've been writing.
Yes, okay, so I'm Denise Essex. I write Black love stories. I would love to say it's contemporary romance, but I'm still learning. I've been published since July of 22. Writing for all my life, but my first book came out July of 22, and I have 11 published books now. So I call what I write sweet heat. The
Mm-hmm.
characters are sweet. I love how you use the word realistic. I feel like they're relatable. My book bays are swoon worthy, but they're also flawed. They're not perfect. Yeah, they're swoon worthy, okay? But also, like, my books are created to be like a manifestation tool for Black women because I want us to see, like, you can have a real life book bay. Maybe you just didn't realize that this man who delivers packages is a
Of course.
potential book bag. Because listen, Malik was a regular dude, just having his music too loud. So yeah, I like to categorize what I do as edutainment.
Yo, I have never had nobody that look like that. Cause I have a thing for grills. I love grills. I have one myself. So I
Okay.
just see a dark skinned man with it, it just does something. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I like it when they deliver my package just the still skin looking motherfuckers.
Are you
So therefore,
serious?
yeah, I don't never get no cute. I think I'm jinxed. I think it's my husband's fault.
Okay. So this Malik story, the pleasure package, was inspired by a real story. So it was like 9 p.m. on the weekend. I am in the Georgia area, like 9 p.m. So I'm like, nobody's delivering packages. This is clearly a car. I'm talking about the house is shaking, and this
Yeah, yeah.
chocolate man just comes up to the door with a package. And I'm like, this is a story. This is
You
the story.
know what?
It might be
When
Georgia.
I gonna hold you down south, y'all got it because y'all got some country fed Negroes. Y'all had the dark skinned chocolate ones down south. There's some up here in the Midwest where I'm from, Chicago, but we got more light brights up here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So we have more light brights and like beige.
So you have the Xavier Grants.
Yeah. We don't have we have them, but they ain't looking like that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't wearing them grills and got their music blasting like that.
Yeah, maybe it's a South. It's a South thing. I was raised in the Midwest, so I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, Xavier Grant from Daddy's Maybe is
Yeah.
giving more Midwest. You know,
Pretty
he's light skinned,
boy.
got the pretty eyes and all of that.
Yeah. That's
But he good too.
what
He
we
a good
have up
person.
here.
Yes,
That's what we have up
with the
here.
pretty eyes and
Now down when I was down south, I was like, I am gonna wind up going to jail beating a female's ass because it is too many Negroes out here that's liable to have me digmatized.
But it's a lot. So I mean they everywhere. I'm talking about the dentist walk with swag, the person at the grocery store. Like you like, where do I put my eyes? Where do I
Right.
I'm also kind of boy crazy. That's my disclaimer. I was always kind of boy crazy. So I think I'd be seeing stuff that other adult women can ignore. I'd be like, did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that?
Now I haven't read Prison Bay yet.
Hey.
But I think that review is coming next week. But I like Fireman's Ball. You made that so realistic. It was sad, but it was a good happily ever after. But it was realistic. I mean, what woman in her right mind wouldn't want a thick ass fireman?
Yeah, I mean, I think I love that you keep using this word realistic because even when I crafted, you know, Marshawn came first in my head. Thank you, Blossom. I crafted Marshawn first, and I was like, okay, the woman that would sort of capture his heart is the woman that is family oriented. And so she was the only one who wouldn't want a thick fireman because she was like, I really need to be focused on my kids. And I got a baby daddy that's super inconsistent. So anything that you're giving me, I'm really not noticing. It can't be genuine.
Right.
So.
And that's realistic though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying every mother is perfect, but when you're a mother, your kids come before any need that you have. You be out here looking like Harriet Tubman around this mother. But your kids gonna be A1. Your kids gonna be A1. And that's why I say it's so realistic. You know what I'm saying? Even with her having a career, her mental state may have been crap, but you wouldn't know because she was there for them kids.
Yeah.
She was being mommy. So their needs came first. So that's why I say you write in a realistic reality. This is something that we all can sometimes, well, majority of women, especially Black women, can attest to. We put everybody before ourselves.
Yes.
And then when something good comes our way, we second guess it because we like, you ain't on shit. You ain't on shit. You really
and
don't.
That's why it was important for me to have that moment where they lost touch for a little bit because, you know, in being a big proponent of Black love, our men are flawed. They're not perfect. And I don't know if you remember that interaction she had with Miss Adele, the older woman, to like remind her, like, okay, is he really a shady person or is he fallible? You know, like, and I think sometimes as Black women, we've had the shady for so long that the minute the good one mess up, it's like, you're out of here. You're done. I'm done. I knew it, you know? And so it's like, it takes that one more step of vulnerability, which I think we don't talk about enough. Black women, we do not like being vulnerable, especially not with a partner. I remember, and I'll just put myself on blast. I remember early in my marriage, my husband was like, you have to spell it out for me. Like if I'm mad about something, I'm mad because, And I did not what I'm like, he should know. And I also just kept hearing
Yeah.
in my head, like, you being weak, you being like all of this stuff that I feel like my homegirls who played a lot of men, they would be like, you don't show your cards. And so I feel like a lot of Black women still kind of carry that because we've been mistreated. We don't want that vulnerability. That's really going to get us the book bag. Just tell them what you need, sis. Just tell them.
Do you think because you write Black love, so
Yes.
do you think as writers, you give us like not an instruction manual, but eye-opening window into what could be?
Yes. I mean, you know how they have all that stuff through a Eurocentric lens of
Oh,
like The Secret and
girl,
Manifest and all that.
girl.
I try to use these as like the Black version of that. So
Mm,
not only could this be, but like just claim that your Marshawn is available,
mm, right,
that
right,
your
right.
Malik is available. Like whatever it is you need when you meet that man, because he on the way,
Mm,
be vulnerable, vet him, of course. But yeah, I
right,
think reading the stories and, again, back to that word realistic, reading them and being like, this is possible for me. I've had this before. That's another thing.
right.
We'll discard the good guy because it's not a limited amount. That's a lie. How many people? Is it 9 billion people on the planet?
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
enough.
counting.
It's enough, sis. It's enough.
But
Now, he might
also,
have a grill and he might have his music loud, but
do you think also, I noticed that when you write women who are not skinny or, not the average type woman in society, but more so a normal person,
yeah,
just a normal woman. You also write her in the sense of it's okay to be strong, sis. It's okay to take a moment to step back and get your shit together for your mental, not for nobody else, but your mental. And I noticed that a lot of times in your book, whether it's an older woman, they the same age, or they're younger, you have that knack for saying, you know what, maybe I need to step back from this situation and reevaluate myself.
facts. Yes, I absolutely include that in there. And maybe that's why the characters are so relatable. I mean,
Mm,
I'm growing my platform. Y'all make sure y'all follow me everywhere. But like the thing about social media is we don't, unless that's your content, because it's definitely people
mm,
talking about it, but in general, unless people are showing what they're growing through,
mm.
we just kind of get imagery all day of Sierra and Russell,
Girl.
all of that. Like we don't get when her eyes was puffy and she was texting Future 50, 11 times. So in
Mm-hmm.
my books, I try to, provide a full picture of like sometimes you on a couch with your hoodie and you need to clean your damn house. You know what I mean? Like those moments don't get plastered on social media and sometimes even discussed in the
Mm,
friend group,
mm.
So in my books, I wanted to remind us that we do have that and we need to allow ourselves that moment so that we can get to the book bay and we can get to the happily ever after. But we can't skip
Do you
it.
do you think that having a book bay is delusional, or do you think that having a book bay is like a step in opening up a crevice of our mind to say this is actually what I like, but I'm scared to say it?
Oh, this is hard because I told you I'm boy crazy. So I don't know if A
No, I
Blossom,
am
Author Blossom,
too.
I don't
Shit,
know if she's
the
still in here, but I got a crush on Blue. Who else I got a crush on? Takara wrote
girl,
somebody.
girl,
I
girl.
be having crushes. Now, okay, but this is the line. It's okay to have a book bay, but in
Mm,
real life, like making space for that real man. Like when you see that
mm,
man in real life, you know, um, that's where you want to create that energy. So
mm,
you getting inspired by the book bag,
mm.
what you liked about him when you see that in a real life person, like that's transferable skills. So I think the
Right.
delusional part is trying to recreate that person specifically.
Right.
If he has qualities like that, yes, absolutely. But just being like, nope, he gotta have boop 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 boop. Ooh, that's scary.
We're not gonna get I'm sorry, we're not gonna get a demon like from Demon's Dreams. We're not gonna get a blue to the T like in Blue from Monique. You know what I'm saying? Hell,
But
we
you
ain't gonna
might
get
find somebody who move like
his
him.
exactly. And damn, I wish I had you on the book bay roundtable that's coming up.
Hey,
And
hey.
yeah, I have a book bay roundtable coming up November 19th with like 6 authors.
Okay.
And I'm going to discuss these same topics because I feel like you guys write that it's realistic, but at the same time, let's not be delusional.
It's a
You
fine
know,
line.
you gotta tell some people because look here.
Well, I think this is the
Don't
fine line. I think if he never mess up, like he always on some bring your, you know what I mean? Like, um, hey, yeah, get him, daddy's baby. But I mean, like, if he always on some like, get over here, bring it over here, like morning tonight, it's unrealistic. Like, at some point, he gonna snap at you,
right,
maybe ghost you a little bit,
right.
you know, be an ass. I don't know if I can say be an ass. And so if the book bay never has that, then that's delusional. And I think that's why for me, I always try to include that, like, all you gotta do is pick up your damn clothes. Why you keep leaving your clothes? Like I almost broke my neck. Like that's a real man's gonna do that.
Right. Right.
It's gonna
And that's what
happen.
I like. That's what I like. If I was a single woman, I tell you right now, I will be looking for the qualities of Demon and Blue. Not the fact that they often people. Well, not that.
The
Not that, because I'm
protective
not
quality.
right. I'm not finna do jail time with nobody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm just saying qualities like that are things that I look. Protectiveness of a black woman is hard to find.
Yeah.
And when you write books like you write, every sense of the way is the instinct of these men is to protect their woman,
Yeah.
but not shield them to the point where they're naive, but to
Facts.
protect their women. And that is realistic. There are actually men out there like that. I know we always see the ones that don't do that.
Okay, so my husband has helped me rewire my brain because when I grew up, I really didn't see a lot of men like that. And he would be like, all my friends like this, like they were in college and they would talk about how they wanted families. And I'm like, where? But he's like, no, seriously, there are guys like that. However, you know, my husband also had the whole glow up. And so he was getting hit up like, hey, what's up with you? But when he was in high school and he had his books and they was like, you're whack, you're lame. So, but that whole idea of wanting to have a family makes him very protective of his wife and his kid. And so that is a real thing. Well, I'm going to let you, you know, I can't remember which book bay it was, but it might have been somebody I was listening to as a reader, but was kind of like, you know, you're not safe doing this. And she was like, well, nobody else ever cared. And he's like, but you my damn wife. Like, I need to know when you coming and going and how you moving. That's just as protective as some of the urban men who are like, bop, bop, bop. You know, like it's the same vein. So you can have you a killer. He don't got to actually do time. But you
Right.
know.
You get caught. We ain't doing this together. Just put it. Yeah.
It's a look. It's a posture. Yeah.
And then also, I also like how like you brought up the topic of older woman, younger men. Because
Hey.
even though it's out there for men, when women do it, you know, society be like, ugh, like
It's not
why
fair.
why she with a younger man and all these older men her age?
Because of
They
our sexual, like our sexual what is that word for women when our like we come into our sexuality later in life sometimes.
Our
You
sexual
know,
peak.
yeah, it's different than men.
It
Men been doing
is.
all this in their 20s. When you get to the 40s and 50s for black women, some of these, yes, peak. Some of these black men is tired, and these young men got stamina. That
Let
is
me
why.
let me tell you something. My husband is 10 years younger than me.
How many? Okay.
And take with that what you feel. I'm not, because I tried dating my
We
own
going
age.
again, babe. We going again, babe.
Right. I tried to date people my own age, and it was just like, what the hell? You worse than my son.
Ooh.
What? That's how the maturity level of some of these older men were. And then here it is, this man who was 10 years younger than me came up on me with more game than a older man could ever
Oh,
slide.
they have
and
game, don't they?
and me, and honestly, I was the type of female I ain't believe in getting married.
Okay.
I ain't want no kids. I just want to be in the streets and do me. But when I was in college, this man said, who not finna marry me? You is.
Ooh.
So
Not a divorce. We not claiming that over your life, sis. We not claiming that over your life. Ooh, thank God our man is not on IG. She's not Stella.
Yes, I am. Like a mother. Meaning with my whole chest. I only date.
I'm getting so much inspiration. These conversations are
Girl, insanity.
Don't find yourself in a story, Shannon, because I will put you in a story.
She already in a couple of stories and some out this book because she is a clown.
Hilarious.
But that realism to me. People don't talk about the fact that older women sometimes don't want to date in their own age graphic or demographic or older. They prefer to date younger. I ain't talking about 21 and 22 and none of that shit. Because
Right.
to me, that's still a baby.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 28, 29, 30. You know what I'm saying? Where, it just seemed to me, the guys that I've been around who were in that age group were more mature than the ones that were like in their 40s. And I'm 45.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, because that's our, what is it? They came up with us and it was just different. This younger generation of men are much more not just confident in themselves, but they just grew up in a different era where it's like, why wouldn't I shoot my shot? Like, if she fine, I'm gonna tell her. Like,
yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
gonna
And
have something of my own.
that, that
I think
part.
some of the men in our generation and some of the older men are used to the black woman, I got it all, I'm carrying it on my back trope.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
so,
I need to be in my soft girl era because I'm
ooh,
already a hood chick. I'm already a hood, sexy red Trina, Lil Kim type chick. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I'm out here wearing grills, chains, blinging it up, and have Jordans on with jogging pants. Most people's like, "Are you straight?" I am, but I just like being tomboyish.
same.
So if a man is gonna be in my life, he has to be able to deal with this hard exterior, but help me be in a safe space where I can be in a soft girl era. And that's the writing style that I feel that you write.
Yes. Yeah, I think, we're talking about 40s, 30s, this generation of black women. Our mothers and the women we watched growing up, they could not be in their soft. There was no soft era. It just wasn't safe. They had to do everything. And so the era we're in now, the generation we're in now, men are stepping up. They're saying, let me
Mm-hmm.
take this off your plate. Let me help you. And that provides the space for a woman to be in her softness, whether she's working, whether she's momming. Um, we couldn't do that before. So I
Right.
think these men understand that. I mean, it's a lot of that conversation going on in the community
Yes.
about why you got this woman out here doing all this
Yeah.
ish, whereas our moms didn't have a choice, whether they was married or not. They did
Mm.
everything, and it was an expectation. But since we tired, I heard a woman say on the internet she wanted to be treated like glass, or she wanted to be called fragile, because when
Mm.
you fragile, you're gonna be that man's gonna handle you differently. If you Teflon strong, I mean,
Girl.
so I think those conversations are happening, and men are stepping up.
I grew up with a man that you would consider to be a blue or consider to be a demon. I ain't even gonna lie, my daddy should have been El Chapo, but but
Oh,
I grew up with that. But him being as hard as he was, when it came to my mom, he all the way up until his death, they were married for like 40 years, and all the way up, he was soft and gentle with her.
love that. Girl,
Everybody
your
else,
daddy was the book babe.
he was. Everybody else, he was a football player. Then he, did his street thing, and but he always took care of her. She never had to worry about one thing. The only sad part about that situation was my mother never handled bills. She never drove a car. She was a passenger princess. He took care. If she said she wanted it, he just gave it to her. She never had the access to the bank account, anything, because he anytime she wanted it, she gave it to him. He was at home, no matter what he was doing at, his business in the streets,
Yeah.
he was at home. You know what I'm saying? And he came home, he helped her with the kids, he helped us with our homework. He,
Um,
he started his own company. He was, the
yeah.
book bag. So when I read about it, I'm like, shit, I lived it because I saw my daddy. I seen him get down over my mama because somebody looked at her like they was interested and he didn't like it.
Oh, you gonna like
So he knocked
Prison
the
Babe.
box off.
You're gonna like Prison Babe because he don't play about Sade. Don't look
And
too many times. Appreciate her, but be respectful.
exactly. That so when I read your books, there is realism to that. And I say that to a lot of authors that I interview, that you guys write in realism. Maybe not to the masses that are not people of color,
Right.
maybe to the masses of people who have never been in a situation where you're considered a minority or a demographic where you are considered tainted, what I'm saying, by the eyes of others.
Right.
So they don't know the dynamic of, the hoods or the different cities or whatever in certain areas. But this is the life we live. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Even when we go off to college, it's still, even though we might go to a HBCU, it's still got cliques. We
Yeah.
might go, we might go to a PWI. It's still segregated. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So people don't understand when you guys, especially Black authors, write these books. Y'all are speaking real facts to us
Yeah.
because we live this
Yeah.
one way or another. So I appreciate that art, because to me that's art.
Hey.
It takes a real motherfucker to write some real shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, once I let myself finish the college route, it was just like, okay, let's go. And it's, I don't know who would see this, but it's scary because I know this is the thing. A lot of readers are unrealized writers, and it's not going to be perfect when you start. The story is not going to hit every time, but just do it for the reason you just said. It's art, it's beautiful, and it's supposed to be shared. And it's another thing that I was thinking about recently, the whole don't be scared. I heavily disagree. Like, do it scared, sis. Do it scared. Because with the amount of, I'll just use movies. I watch a lot of movies. I don't just want to watch Tyler Perry movies or, I want a whole, what is it called? I want a whole catalog options. So there's space for another author, especially a Black author, so please just do it scared. I'm doing it scared. I be terrified every time. Every time I be beside myself. Okay, let me tell you how. So Thursday, what did it say? Yeah, Thursday, Daddy's Maybe came out. I literally went and hiked. I went on a hike. I went and sat on a rock and looked at the water because it's scary to share something that's realistic, something that's artistic with people who gonna be honest. If ain't nobody gonna be honest, Black people gonna be honest with you.
Ain't never lied.
And that's part of it, as they should. So for the 11th book, what I finally learned is it's a release day. That book ain't mine no more. And however people engage with my art is not my business.
Ooh, you spoke a word right there. Word right there. You spoke a word right, because that's an ongoing thing on social media, where authors get into reader spaces and tell them how to review. And then you have readers get into author spaces and tell them how they should feel. So it's like a back and forth, but more or less, I just feel like everybody should stay in their corner and mind their damn business.
Wait. I think I kind of understand, but another thing about me is I be a little naive. So stuff be going on. I be like, oh. So there are authors who will tell readers, don't review.
They'll tell them, okay, authors will get on readers about their reviews because they don't like the fact that how they perceive the book. Because, everyone perceives a book a different way.
Yeah.
What one person might see as important, another person might not see as important and talk about something else. But we're connected to them.
Yeah.
So you'll have authors get into readers' faces and say, why you give me this 3-star? Why did you give me this 4-star? And why did your review sound like you didn't like the book? You just didn't understand the character. But you can't tell a person, once you put it out there, you can't tell this reviewer your feelings are not valid because this is how I wrote it. So this is how you should take it.
Okay, so I relate to these authors, but I say this about celebrities all the time. Save it for the group chat. There are so many problematic things that celebrities have said that the masses don't agree with that I feel like you can feel like that. Just save it for the group chat. Right. So when I don't like a review, like especially in the beginning, not so much now, that's what your pen sisters are for. That's what your auntie for. That's what you don't go try to tell that reader.
Yeah.
We don't do that. And then the second thing is in the beginning, yes, I'm a sensitive, I'm a creative, I write, I feel everything. So these people who be like, I don't care, I care. I see it, I feel a way. But what Be Love will, she has her advice about what reviews are for. And as I've learned, once I think it was the Fireman's Ball, somebody gave me a 1-star. And for the first time, I was like, I'm not for you, sis. This is like my best work. And it was the part, she didn't like the part that Deja saw him while there was a fire. And I said, that makes perfect sense. But I didn't take it personal like it meant the work was bad. But that was like my 5th, 6th. The first couple is like, oh, they hate me, I'm trash. So yeah, I mean, book 11, I just got to that place where I said, okay, I need to do something because this isn't my work anymore. I wrote it, and however they engage with it, like you said, I can't force them to know exactly what I meant. Somebody said on Daddy's Maybe they didn't like the son being by himself. So for anybody who read it, they know that part. And I was like, well, he's, again, Xavier Grant. He's a book babe, but he's also a man. He's not going to be perfect. She couldn't.
Well, in that whole dynamic, I just think that it's so much to take from that story that he made me. It's more than just, to me, it's more than the second chance aspect. It's more than the daddy maybe part.
Yeah.
It what they went through to get to their second chance.
Yeah.
It's the marriage marriages in between that second chance, and the dynamic of not fully giving yourself to someone because it ain't them, it's you. This is a story of it ain't you, it's me.
It's me.
And that's why I say I don't know. Everybody review things differently.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times Shannon will say I do thesis. But I like to break down every aspect of it because I don't want to miss a part. Because you could take away so much from a story if you really just break it down. And a lot of people don't have time to do all that shit. But I'm just saying, you could take away so much. That's why I say realism is so much into these stories. If you really read a book to read it, like comprehend it, not read the words and see it and finish the book, but truly comprehend the story, you will see so much more in the story. That's how I look at it. That's my thing. So when I read Daddy Maybe, I took a lot away from it because it was the dynamic of the marriages. It was the dynamic of the kids. It was the dynamic of the second chance and how it all played out. It was family trauma issues. It was a lot.
Did you see those generational patterns?
Exactly. And how fearful, and you made the male character Xavier so vulnerable because those patterns of generational trauma is real. Yes. Those patterns of mothers making sons the husband is real.
Speak on it, making them pseudo husbands.
That is a real thing that people
Willie Earl.
Yeah,
I love Willie Earl.
We will do things out of spite and don't even realize we're doing it because we're so angry.
That's why it was really important that I included the part at the wedding with the young girl to really make it full circle, because now we're those people, right? We're in the A Blossom. Ooh. We're in the hold your mule, friend. Hold your Anyway. But we're in that middle part of the generation where we see what our parents did, but now are we gonna replay that, right? Because now we're seeing this why they were struggling. Because she had to really say, like, I remember writing that part. This is a lot to take in. Because I do that with my son. My son is like me times 20, and he's also not afraid that he's gonna be slapped into next week. So when he says stuff, I have to give myself a pause, because what my mom would have done is slap me in the next week. But I'm like, okay, is this disrespectful? Is it? Or is it just I'm uncomfortable with a kid being himself, free, have a voice, etc., etc. So when that girl said, hey, at the wedding.
But you also wrote about the dynamic between boomers, because yes, boomers fucked us all up. Boomers, church folk, and they know the asses. And relationships with, the opposite sex. Because boomers have put in our head, everything has to be, you gotta fight for it. Not work for it. You gotta fight for it. And then you have the church folk that tell us everything we do is against the Bible. Everything we do. So therefore, when you wrote that situation in the church, I had a goddamn flashback.
Did you?
That's probably why I'm not Christian no more.
What happened? Spill the tea.
No, I'm not Christian anymore because my grandfather was a pastor. My mother's father was a pastor. My father's father was a gospel singer, one of the biggest part of one of the biggest gospel groups in the Midwest.
Okay.
And I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
But I grew up in a church where I had to wear dresses.
Yeah.
I had wearing pants. It was okay, but it was like, ugh,
Yeah.
who's she trying to figure for? I also grew up in a church where, you know, older men always trying to talk to younger women. And when I say younger women, you know how nasty I'm talking about, the younger women. And then I grew up in a time where, oh, she dressed like that because she fast, but I'm 10. She
Oh my God.
like that because she gonna be so fast growing up.
Yeah.
She too mature looking growing up, but you know the girl is like, you know, 9. You know what I'm saying?
Or even 15. How is she fast? She's a child.
Exactly. And then I also grew up in a church where, you know, they disrespected the other side of my family that wasn't Christian, that were in hoodoo and voodoo.
Come on and preach now.
So therefore I had a choice when I got older. Was I still going to go down that path of going through the church, and then, or I was going through the path of the heritage that I actually came from?
Thank you, ancestors.
So I wound up, and it took the moment that I actually spoke in tongues. When I spoke in tongues, that moment took me away from Christianity. Because I watched everybody else that was speaking in tongues. It didn't sound like what I was saying.
Ooh.
And it didn't sound like what I was feeling. I mean, the way they was doing it, it looked like it was almost, what was the word? It was almost forced. Like they was trying to make it seem like it. But when I did it, it hurt so bad. Because it just felt like my head was about to explode. And it was just like, I never want to do this again. But I did. I said, I never, and it just happened randomly. It just poured out of me randomly. But it didn't look like how everybody else was doing it.
You know why I like this conversation, and I do have elements of spirituality in my books, is because I think Black women as a community have been modeled and have participated in spiritual bypassing. So I'm not saying that people can't go to church or believe in God or hoodoo or whatever they believe in, but none of those can replace the work of relearning how to be comfortable in ourselves.
Hello?
Am I here? Am I back?
You're back.
But like none of those things can like replace that work. And I think in the church that we grew up in, there was lots of spiritual bypassing, single women, married women meddling. And what that does is it prevents us from getting that healthy reciprocal love I think we really want. So you can have church, spirituality, God, and all that, but you also gonna need some therapy, some journaling, some meditation, some coming to Jesus, whatever that looks like for you. If you actually want the book bay in real life, you can't bypass that work because Jesus is your man.
Girl.
And I don't feel like we say it enough because it's going to hurt somebody's feelings. We all have that friend that is just amazing. She's dope. Right. She loves on everybody. She at church 3 times a week. And we like, sis, somebody wants to blow your back out. And he might be in the church.
Let me tell you, the sad part about me was I was so fearful of the church and the Bible that I could not enjoy dating in my youth.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
And so that's why I say when I read books like yours, it gives me escapism, but also it gives me realism. And then also being in my 40s is when I came into my own. Yeah. Because I had to realize, that's why I say your books like yours, A Blossom, Be Love, Maldu, Nick Mills, they all are relatable. Regardless of how you want to see it, we all have been trapped in the stereotype of what a Black woman should be.
Honey.
So when we see freedom in a book, it opens our eyes to see, maybe I don't feel comfortable in a church filled with 100 people. Why can't I just sit at an altar with my ancestors' pictures and just talk to them?
Whatever you gotta do, sis. Whatever you gotta do, sis. That's my personal opinion. Is whatever you gotta do, as long as you're not using that to bypass the work. We all gotta do work. We all gotta do the inner work if we want a real life healthy relationship. Because I love these books. I want women to interact with them. I interact with them, but I know I still gotta do my work if I want him in real life. If I want to get my back broke.
Look, that's another thing. Y'all don't hesitate.
What I need, what I like.
Y'all don't hesitate on, okay. Xavier was rocking her world.
You said who?
Xavier was rocking the back out the meow meow. Okay, he was pulling edges and filleting their asses. You know what I'm saying? He was throwing it down in Pound Town.
He had been waiting.
It was giving, I got the wet, but you about to get this, hard peen. You know what I'm saying? So it was giving, but that's the unapologetic stuff that I like. Because there are people out here who are nastier than a mother, but they are shameful to say that they are.
Hey.
Because of how society looks at them. So when we pick our books, some of us, not me, because I'm nasty, I ain't even gonna lie, but some of us be like, damn, I like that, and I'm happy I can read it, because that's what I do.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, even, and this is just me and the way I craft my characters. You getting wild with your man. It's your man. And you should be satisfied by that man.
If you ain't,
I think we all deserve it. We all deserve it.
Yeah. If your back is not getting blown out regularly, why are you still there? I know sex is not always the thing, but it's a thing.
It's very important. It's very important. It's how we're wired as people. Sensuality, sexuality is part of it. And I think, circling back to this specific community, Black women, we have been shamed for our sexuality. We've been over-sexualized. We have to move a certain way because we're targeted. We don't want to be assaulted. It's all of these layers. So when we're with our men, we should be able to be free and express our sexuality in the way we want to. And if you don't just want to do that with one man, if you got a rotation, sis, I love that for you.
Be for the street. I say it wholeheartedly. I can't do it no more, but be for the street.
Right. Don't let nobody lock you down unless you want to be locked down.
Exactly. And that's, okay. Books like Pleasure Package, Fireman's Ball, and Daddy's Maybe, and what was the one you did with the Strawberry Kisses?
I got A Naughty Rendezvous. I got I Found Her, The College Route, Prison Bay, College Route series. Yeah.
It's the one it's a series that you did that was like the Strawberry Kisses type B-Love Presents series.
I don't have a Strawberry Kisses.
I thought you wrote one.
Are you talking about the Naughty? I did a Naughty series with you.
No, it was another series that you was in.
Tennessee Whiskey?
That's the one.
Okay. Mine was Love in the Same Strip Club.
That was the older man, younger one.
No, it might have been a Strawberry one, but mine was, well, I guess he was a little bit older. She was like kind of college age. Darnell and Zoe. Yeah.
I just feel like you put a light on different type of women and say it's okay for you to find love.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, she was dancing because she was trying to fund her writing career. I don't know anything about that.
So, what is next for you? Like, you are really writing stuff. Like I said, you're a realism writer to me, a Black love realism writer. So, what is next after Daddy's Maybe? What is the follow up? Are we getting another fireball? Fireman's ball?
Y'all is on this fireman's ball,
Yes!
boy. Ashley and Pierre. I love them. I love them too, Ashley and Pierre. Yeah, I think more of the same but different, right? Like I'm really stepping into this sweet heat lane of like, I like how heated their encounters are. Oh, thank you, Amber. She like, that wasn't me. That was my pen sis though. But I like this lane of sweet heat, of sweet characters, relatable, because they're, my book bays are swoon worthy, but they're irresistible, but they're super relatable. They're relatable. So more book bays like that. I'm just going to keep doing that. And as far as like ultimately, I want to continue writing my books, but I would love to get one of these turned into a screenplay.
I would love that for you. I would love that for myself too, to see who will play him downstairs. But I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I see Jade. What's her name?
Which one? From Daddy's Maybe?
No, she's an author.
Oh.
She does Tubi movies.
Oh.
She has her books on Tubi.
Yeah.
She's made movies out of them.
Yeah, I would love that.
So,
because with the way that you talk about how you interact with book is how I interact with film. Like my brain, and I think that's why I was able to transition into this field. Like I've been here a very long time, is because when I watch a movie, one, I can rewatch it over and over and over. I know some people don't like to do that, but it's the writing that I'm obsessed with. Like, I don't know if y'all saw that. I think it's called The Jasmine Blues. I hated that movie as like a consumer. I think that was Tyler Perry with the woman who was passing and the black man. Like I hated it as a consumer, but as a writer, I was like, wow. And so when I get the feedback I do, even when it's like, oh, I didn't like this because, I'm like, you shouldn't like it because they're characters and they're not perfect. So if they make you feel some sort of, when people be like, I hated, like somebody wrote a review that they hated Constance, Xavier's mom. I'm like, she's not a likable person. She's very
not
messy.
a likable person, but she is a lesson in the older generation and how they carry themselves.
Period. She's like a real, like you said, real. That is somebody real mama.
Yeah. That really is. Like, I related to it so much. My ex-husband, that was how his mother was. He was the man of the house.
And who is you?
Could do no wrong.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
That's unfortunate.
And she had a husband.
Oh,
that's crazy.
She was still busy.
Yeah. So I like I said, you write in realism and it comes off better to me.
Thank you.
I read white authors as well, but I relate more to Black authors. Yeah. With white authors, I relate to the situations. When I read Black authors, I relate to the characters and the situations.
That's real. That's real. I love it. I love it. I think one of the most sacred things about being able to be in these spaces and write these books is I feel like I have made people immortal, because Miss Adele, that character who helped Deja in the Fireman's Ball, was my mentor when I got into ultrasound, and she transitioned. So she's an ancestor now. So I feel like I made her immortal And I try to use, my ancestors' names as like some of the older characters in books so they can continue to like be here. So I think it's just a sacred thing to be able to share your work and have people engage with people who are no longer here and have these stories burned in their head long after. Like, remember that book? It's dope.
And this is why, like, like, this is, which one is this? Dead Maybe, the review I'm going to do Sunday.
Hey.
I take notes. People don't realize it, but when they ask me to do a review, I need you to understand. When I read the book, I break that shit down. I literally be taking notes.
I love your trigger warnings too. When you did a trigger warning for one of my books, and I was like, oh, I didn't even remember that was maybe because of his brother or whatever, and like Marshawn's. I'm like, oh yeah, there is some deep stuff in there. She said thesis. Shannon doubled it.
The reason why I do that is because a lot of times people will complain so much about not seeing a trigger warning, but when they get a trigger warning, they still read the book and then have this negative review about it because of said trigger warning. But she gave you the trigger warning.
Yeah.
He or she gave you that trigger warning.
Yeah.
So I go further into it. So when people look at my reviews, you're not only going to
really capping on you.
Literary professor. I literally go in depth more with the trigger warnings because I have seen so many people get on these apps and be like, oh my God, she didn't tell me this happened.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It's just something I don't like that because y'all missed the plot.
Yeah.
Y'all missed the story.
Well, in Prison Babe, there was, I gave the trigger warning of like talks of like sexual assault. And I don't want to trigger people with my work, but that happens. Like Prison Babe, he committed a righteous murder.
Right.
That was why people connected with him. But in the reviews, people was like, I wanted to know more about, I'm like, y'all want me to, like, they wanted to know more about the assault. I'm like, why? Like, that's not.
What the hell?
She could have talked more about, and it basically is these, we all know what happens in these families where we're protecting the uncle and the creepy person more than the victim. Like, and Trey wasn't about that life. He was like, hell no.
But I honestly, as a reader, I know I'm about to get flack for this. I feel like people don't use their whole brain. Not even the left or the right. They just use a minute part right here. And they just don't really have critical thinking skills when they read synopsis.
Well, let me give a disclaimer for readers because I love readers. A lot of people read books blind. I didn't know that was a thing until I started writing. They would say, oh, I don't read the synopsis. And I'm like, oh, like, to me, that's a scary story. I have to know what I'm getting into. But some people just read it because of the cover.
But a lot of times people do that, right? And then they complain.
Yeah.
You went in blind.
You can say this. I can't say this.
Yeah.
Once I give it.
I'm going to say it for y'all. Because it irks my nerve when I see people get online on these here apps, on this ghetto ass internet, and be here talking mad boo-hoo shit about, oh, I didn't know the trigger warnings, or the synopsis didn't read that way, or I just went in because the cover looked good, and then be like, oh my God, I'm so triggered. Take several seats and a flying dick and go sit somewhere.
I mean, it's just like movies. It's just like movies. I know I'm a sensitive. I can't watch anything that has like overt gore and violence. I can't handle it. So if I see that in the trailer, I know the movie gone. So yeah, but I may like allude to tough subjects, but it's not going to be graphic.
But
it's just going to be.
I've only seen this with Black authors. I don't care if you write Black love, interracial love, fantasy, sci-fi. I only see these complaints about Black authors, which annoy me to no end. Like, it's bad enough that you're Black and you got to deal with the bullshit you got to deal with. But now you only have your complaints only for Black authors. That don't sit well with me.
Yeah,
and especially when it comes from our own people. That don't sit well with me. If you don't stand elsewhere.
I mind my business. I mind my business.
I'm saying it for you. You the politically correct one, and I am your angry translator. So I'm saying it for you.
Because, you know, I mean, I know, I feel like we've been talking about Tyler Perry the whole interview, but as a creator and a writer, I watch certain aspects and I think about how he's been criticized for most of his career for dressing up like a woman, right?
Yeah.
And then when he didn't want to do it, he was criticized for not dressing up like a woman. And so that's how I kind of take feedback to my work sometimes. It's like they're allowed to comment on it because I put it out there. And I try to keep that healthy space between it. But you a reader and you a podcast, so, you know, you could say all that. But for me, it's like, it's something that you expose yourself to when you put Black authors, something with Black authors coming for other Black authors. Ooh, I'm glad I haven't felt this. I mean, other than my Facebook page getting flagged. I don't know where that came from, but in my feeling, in the story I created was that it was people in my community.
Right, Jenny. I just feel like we as readers, if we don't defend y'all and we don't have y'all back, we lose out on the stories that we could read. We lose out on the literature that we've been yearning for, that everybody has been pushing to the side. Not everybody gets the deals like Tyler Perry. Not everybody gets the deals like Tanashi Coates. Not everybody gets the deals like what's that? Danielle Steele, who everybody knew from the 80s up until now. Goddamn, I wish she stopped writing. But but you know, not Black people do not get these deals. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But we get the criticism. So we as writers, we as readers, especially Black readers, I feel like we should be pushing it more, because with books like, with social media platforms, with Instagram, Facebook, and Threads and TikTok, even Snapchat, we should be pushing it more, because y'all don't get y'all flowers unless it's in our community. And that's crazy to me, because I have read white stories like J.R. Ward and the Brotherhood of the Dagger. And then I have read stories that are from Sharina, I can't remember her name, but she wrote a vampire story. Ooh. And that story don't get as much love, and it's from a small Entanglement publishing house. Ooh. But she don't get as much love as a J.R. Ward. You know what I'm saying? Well, her story is like is based off a Full Metal Alchemist anime and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but all the characters are Black.
I love that. That sounds very
interesting. It's a really good fucking book, but it don't get as much love. Yeah. But you will see us push a white author, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But if you're doing it all the time, I got a problem with that. Yeah. I can't tell people what they like to read, but as readers, we should be diverse in our reading. It will help so much.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate all the mentions I get on TikTok and all that, because for the most part, I'm still, they'll say things like, this is a new to me author and all that. And so I've only been in this industry for a year. So the indie, like the Black indie romance authors, it's, for me, I've been through some stuff enough in this year, but I think I still have this sort of naive outlook that this is our way. Like, we're not getting these traditional publishing deals yet. So indie is our way. This is our platform. This is a way to like get some coin for what we're putting out. And I think maybe I just have blinders on, and I'm seeing the readers who are, you know, riding for us.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But, you know, behind the scenes, there are shit happening. But it's not, honestly, it's not for you as the authors to worry about. We as the readers, at least the ones who are strong enough to call out another motherfucker and be like, hey, yo, what you just said is disrespectful as hell.
Okay.
We
love that.
We can do that. Yeah. We do that to each other, but we don't need y'all to do it. And that's why I say authors need to stay out of reader spaces, because we got y'all. We got y'all.
Okay.
We literally got
the
y'all. It might not Shannon and stay there. The other side is
Danielle still has a ghostwriter. I was like, oh my gosh. Her and the James Pattersons. I don't think they write these books no more, but okay.
It don't surprise me at all. And that was me when I read Eric LaSalle's book, Loss of Annihilation. I'm shocked that
he followed me on TikTok. I was like, oh, just let your son.
Girl. Okay. All right. So when they sent me the books, right? I was just like, okay. I didn't know what to expect. I read the blurbs. I read the synopsis. I was like, okay, I'm going to read it. Read Laws of Annihilation. It should be... Now, this is a book that should have trigger warnings from, like, the title. From the title page. Because it's talking about hanging strange fruit, if you know what I mean.
No.
It's a race war in this.
No.
It's dark. It's a thriller suspense for real.
Okay.
There's no romance in this whatsoever. It's just thriller, and I don't even want to say suspense. It's just thriller.
I'm gonna stick with romance for now.
It's very insightful because it's from a Black man's perspective of a lot of shit. And the white woman that's the lead character, it's about realization of there is a difference between being Jewish and Black. And it talks about the Aryan nation. It talks about, it's deep.
I'm gonna stay with my
and if you like those type of books, great. It's perfect. It should be a bestseller. But it's deep. It's deep. I don't know where his headspace was with this book. it was deep. Like, I had talked to Shannon after, like, when I was finishing the book, I had talked to Shannon, and she was like, why you sound like that? I was like, 'cause the book, like, it really, I had to step away from the book, like, several times because it was just too much because of what Black people, Palestinian people, and everybody is going through now. It was just too much. I was like, I wasn't even crying. I was angry. Oof. It was one of those books that the revolution will not be televised type books. I was angry. So I had to walk away a lot from this book. Like, put it down. Like, Jesus. It was too much. And I said, if you don't come get Meshach and his goat and gone somewhere,
I think we're very similar though. Like the thespians, the actors, the writers, even singers and performers in this artistry. And I think your books, your work, it is a mirror into where your headspace may have been. And so for me, I think one of the reasons sometimes I do have blinders about certain things is because, like you said, then you need to debrief from a book you read. Like, you gotta, and I want people to be uplifted when they read my work, but not, like you said, not unrealistically so, where everybody's just floating around. Like The Fireman's Ball, there was heavy talk about grief
Uh,
and how people were processing their grief. Well, also, you can be somebody who lost somebody and still love. Like,
mm-hmm.
those two things can be true at once. So, yeah, I'll save the other stuff for the other authors.
Fireman's Ball was really emotional at the sense, but
I
at the same
cried
time,
reading and writing that book.
it was a redemption for him. It was like a redemption of his heart. It was a redemption of him mentally. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to move forward. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when the daughter comforted and like confronted him about like, well, why were you sad? That was the part where I was just like
Yeah. But you know, with trauma, when we have trauma, black men, when they have trauma, it's deep. Not saying our trauma is not deep, but you know how black men are so, I have to be solid. Any other way than solid, I am weak.
Yeah.
And letting those emotions fly, I love that you wrote that. Letting the emotions finally come to the surface and letting it out and saying, I do deserve happiness.
Yeah.
It's not taking away.
What did you think about his dad though?
Yeah.
When his dad was like, Hank, slap the mess out. I know you ain't talking to my wife.
Girl.
I was like, this is what a black dad would do. Because I know you ain't yelling up in here. I don't care how old you are.
But I commend you on that, because a lot of times people do not rate black men as being vulnerable. And
yeah, I mean, it's a realistic thing. I mean, the same thing that we are criticizing black men for, you know, the lack of vulnerability, is the same thing we struggle to do, right? Are we being honest and saying, babe, that hurt my feelings? Or is that whack? Ain't nobody got time for that. Babe, I'm tired. I need help. I don't want to work 10 hours no more. Or you just going to be slamming stuff around the house. I ain't doing this. I ain't cooking this because you know I've been working all. It's very different than, babe, I'm struggling.
Why you calling me out like that?
Uh-oh.
Why you calling me out like that?
Come to the front. Come to the front. That's the vulnerability. And I think what makes vulnerability hard as a black woman, as the woman in the scenario, is you can't control the outcome. So I have said, okay, I'm tired of working 10 hours. This is me telling on myself. I'm tired of working 10 hours. I'm tired of leaving my toddler to go to the hospital. I need help. He could be like, we need the money. Or he could be like, moving heaven and earth to make sure you can cut your hours. But if we skip the vulnerability part, we just stop fucking cooking, stop cleaning, because you know I'm doing too much. It's very different than just telling him, babe, I'm struggling. Help. I need your help. Are we afraid to ask a black man for help?
And that is a question. That is a question. That's why I say a lot of times when y'all write, it makes us think. It makes us think on situations or situations that didn't even happen yet, but how we would react to it. I'm just saying how we would react to it, because I have never met a woman who's been vulnerable. I don't care whether she's white, black, Asian, indigenous, whatever, who's been so vulnerable up front with a man.
Mm-hmm.
Except for those who are like truly yearning for that attention and love because they didn't get it.
Okay.
But when you read books like, you know, y'all, how can I put it? When we read books with romance, a lot of people want a happily ever after immediately. They don't want the situationship that goes in between that. They just want that happily ever after.
Hard out here.
But when you come to a book that, and this goes for all black authors, when we as black readers read black authors' books, y'all give us the situationship. before we can even get a happily ever after, or we get it's almost there.
Otherwise, it would be unrealistic. I talked to a girl the other day, and we were talking about, the business side of this. I ain't even gonna get into that. Sheesh, the business side of authoring and all that, and how we don't sometimes feel worthy to be compensated like we should. Like mediocre white men, or like, pay me what you owe me. And she said she was having a conversation with the biracial girl who's going after everything, getting what she deserved. And she said, because nobody ever told me I couldn't. And I was just like, that is the complete opposite as what most Black women, especially, let's just be honest, dark-skinned women, are met with. So I feel like, doubling back to what you were saying, in our books, if there was smooth sailing, that isn't a Black woman's experience. Now, I do have biracial friends, I do have white friends where it is fairly easy. They've always had somebody taking care of them, their dad, they went from their dad to this man, and not that they don't have any issues, but there's not situationships in that way. It's like, he courted me and we getting married, and it usually don't work like that for us.
Yeah. But also, I also want to take this. I like the fact that y'all write that Black women can get their freak on. Black women can get nasty. Black women ain't ashamed to go down on their man and do their thug dizzle and take their soul.
To me, it's not romance if there's no heat. If we not heating with the sweet, it's not. To me, I would have no content if somebody not gonna get their back blown out at some point or choked a little bit.
Girl, that's why I don't like Fade to Black.
Oh,
I don't. You need to tell me how good and nasty it's gonna. I need to read that it was Slurp Slurp Central. I need to read that. I don't want no. And we just had sex and it's the next day. Girl, I will fight you. Ooh. Give me the thug dizzle. Give me the lowdown.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Don't tell nobody else. I like writing sex scenes.
What? You the first author that told me
that. And I heard somebody recently. Let me plug this on it. But I heard somebody recently say, like, they have to set the mood, and they have to. I be writing my sex scenes at like 8:45 with my son at school. It just not matter. I can write my sex scenes on my phone. I have like Google Docs on there. I could just be in a car with my guys, going wherever we going, and be like,
girl, you are the first author I have interviewed that ever said they like writing sex scenes. No, when I said all of them have been like, what episode is this on the podcast? It's the 23rd episode on my podcast.
It's a secret though.
3 authors. You're the first one that said they like sex scenes.
And then, like, I know it's good if I'm like rereading it and I like forget where I am, and I'm like, where my man at? I'm like, okay, that you did what you were supposed to do. Like when you're editing, like I have to remember, okay, you're editing, you're not reading the sex scene that you wrote.
Right. Look, let me tell you something. Your sex scenes are amazing. Because you give us the Gluck 3000. you give us the Eat 'em Up special. You give us the break her back and fold her like a pretzel. So I'm all for it. I am all for it.
I mean, I hope it stays that way, but personally, like I feel like writing is a transfer of energy. I don't want to turn into my hippiness, but I feel like it's a transfer of energy. And so when that the scene in the back of the truck, yeah, somebody did a story about Prison Babe. There's a scene that I think you will like. She was like, not them outside of her work, and I was like,
I'm gonna read Prison Babe tonight because now here you is about to get 2 reviews
It's
tomorrow. Why
a
you do this to me?
quick read. That's the other thing I think I need to, add to my marketing and promotion is I'm a quick read. They're quick, sensual, steamy, and especially with Trey and Sade, it's really quick, like to the point where they were like, we needed more. So I have not perfected the novella. I'm still working on it. So, but as far as time, you get in and get out.
But the thing about it is with short stories, y'all have a knack of making those short stories feel like you're reading a novel. Y'all pack in so much shit in there that it's just like, oh my God, did I read a novella or did I read a novel?
Yeah. I mean,
But
I'm working. I think pacing is a dance, and
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm getting better of like, I never want to, drag on, just dragging it on. But I also don't want to give the readers whiplash where they're like,
Yeah.
wait. But I think they liked, Wham Bam, thank you, man. I think they liked Trey and Sade so much that they were like, don't rush. Let us get our cigarette before you go next.
Let me tell you something, because I was like that with what was that book? Pleasure Package. I was like, yeah.
Hey,
Damn.
Malik.
I said, this he busted her back out. Damn. That young nigga shit.
He was looking at him like, because that's the thing. I don't know if y'all have met Malik, but he's the Glamazon driver who delivers the packages with the loud music and the grill. But when he's with his, Claudia Butner, when he's with her, he's like, there's a reason I'm driving this truck. I got these hood body briefs, And so when she first saw them briefs,
Girl.
was like, is them those? Is that it?
And I kept thinking in my head, the thing I kept thinking in my head the whole fucking time, I was like, I need to see this on Fashion Nova for me.
Period. Yeah, hood body briefs coming soon to a store near you. When I get my merch, when I get my followers up, is Amber still in here? I'm trying to be like them. Them BLP women, man, they platforms is popping. When my platform popping and I can have merch, we're gonna get us some hood body briefs.
I need you to get your shit popping, but I'm gonna do my part and make sure people understand to follow you. Get your number, girl.
Because okay, so I got kind of, and I probably need to go in like 15 minutes the next hour because I got a 6-year-old. He quiet. But
it's wrong.
But what was I gonna say about that? Yeah, I just got kind of like subbed, what is it called? When they, a subliminal by a reader on TikTok. And it was like the person that said, I couldn't find your link, I'm stressed out. And I was like, I'm sorry. And so then they were saying, make sure it's easy for us, put it in your website. And I kept trying to do it, but then I realized even for that feature, you got to have 1K. So they won't let me put up. So I commented on there. I'm like, you know me. I'm very like, I practice vulnerability. So I was like, sis, I'm trying to figure it out. I could not figure out. And then another BLP, one of my pen sisters, I was like, hers on there. So I'm messaging her, how you do it? She like, I don't have this or like a business account. I Googled it. You got to have 1K. So I was on her little TikTok telling me to post your stuff saying, listen, I'm trying. If y'all help me get it to 1K, I will post my link in my bio.
You know what I need you to do before you get off of here, and I ask you these last questions.
Yes. I
need you to hit me up in my DM, because what I'm going to do is, and Shannon, if you still on here, we can do this together. I need everybody that have less than 1K on TikTok, so I can make a video saying, hey, y'all need to follow these accounts.
Yay! Because like you said, y'all support, when the stuff is out there, y'all support readers to be like, all right.
I need you to DM me. If you know somebody else, let me know. I'll put them on the list.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
My goal was like, I can get 1K by the end of the year. That's my goal. I'm almost at 700.
I think you can do that. I think you can do that, honestly.
Thank you, Pansis.
Okay, now last two questions.
Yeah.
The last two questions. Well, this question is more like a fire round question, but it's gonna go fast.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite trope and why? What is your least favorite trope and why?
Ooh, my favorite trope. What is my favorite trope? Let me think about this. I'm still learning tropes. I'm still a newbie as far as I get a story in my brain. Because even like Marshawn and Deja, I don't know the trope that they fall into perfectly. So I'm still working on it. I like the idea of like insta attraction or insta love. I think that's kind of where I live. Where there's either like tension of like, I don't F with you, or like, oh my God, this is it. And then that part that like you're talking about where there's still work. So that's why I even say not secret baby. I don't even say insta love. I say like insta attraction. And I guess the trope that I don't like, I don't want to say this. My readers disappeared. I don't like. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say it with my chest. I don't like this. The man got all this money and the woman is broke, and he just. I don't like the billionaire trope. I don't like it. Okay. Maybe because, like you said, like I'm gonna give a fat, hairy butt disclaimer. Because, like you said, I deal in realism, right. And I think the last thing I could do with my conscience is push the idea that we all gonna get a billionaire. I feel like that's not really realistic. Maybe that's why. I'm sorry.
I wish. I wish. Okay. So if you could write in any genre, what would it be, and will we ever get that book?
I just covered my camera. So, I like to skirt with the tropes and the genres. Usually contemporary romance with urban undertones is kind of where I live. My next book coming out in December has a mystery vibe. And even though, like I said, I can't do gore and all that, my favorite movie genre growing up was thriller, like Kiss the Girls, that kind of thing, where you're trying to figure out. And I'm really good, like annoyingly good at guessing the ending of movies. And so with this book, I made it a mystery, and I'm super excited to, like, I think this one needs a book discussion. So I know you be booked, but if you have space and you want to talk about it, I really need to. I don't know. I haven't picked my date yet.
You pick your date. I will make sure I have a slot for you so you can do a book tour starting with me.
Are you?
Because it is. I'm dead ass serious. Yes. Anything I say is for real, for real.
It's the mystery for me. It's the mystery. I think people are really gonna F with it.
I need to read that.
And of course, the love story, of course, but that mystery, was really fun. Like, and then it's a little bit of creepy vibes.
I ain't never read like a thriller mystery romance, so this gonna be what's up. Okay. Just let me know the date, and I'll let you know the date, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah,
we'll make it happen.
I'm excited. I wish I could say more, but I can't say more yet. But
just let me know.
It's next month though.
Okay. Just let me know. I don't give a fuck if it's on a Friday. We gonna make it happen. We gonna make this happen. Okay, so what is up with you for book signings, book events, and all that stuff next year? what's happening, what's going on. And we need all your social media handles so we can follow you, and your newsletter if you have one.
Yes, I do. IG, I feel like it's gonna get real funny if I try to pull up the newsletter. Will it'll disappear if I pull it up on my phone?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. IG be extra just like TikTok, so I don't know.
Am I
Where you go?
back? Am I here? I went to get the newsletter.
I was like, it got quiet as hell.
I don't know if you can even copy though. I need to put it in my bio. I don't even know if you can copy on IG like that. But
You probably need to put it in your bio.
Yeah, okay, I'll put it in my bio, y'all. Everything is Denise Essex 222. TikTok, Denise Essex 222. Here, IG, Denise Essex 222. Facebook, Denise Essex author. Author Denise Essex 222. I told you they flagged my stuff on Facebook. It's so annoying.
Do you have
so
a
I
Facebook
operate. Huh?
You have a Facebook group?
I have a Facebook group called Denise Essex Sweet Heat Seekers. They voted on Daddy's Maybe. I asked them what they wanted to hear from me next, and they voted in my group and on my newsletter. I'm doing the BLP book event in January in Memphis, and I'm doing a boozy book tour with y'all. Yes. But otherwise, I think I'm inside. I don't think I'm outside with the book events yet because I'm still learning the paperback. I'm 24 is about me learning my business.
Yeah.
Okay. I am the girl that moved to LA who just wanted to sing songs, and they like, bitch, you gotta go to parties, you gotta be on social media. And I'm like, but I can play my guitar and I can sing. So that's what I really need to be doing next year. And then I will do more book events. But yes, I'm gonna be signing. That's where I met Shannon, at the BLP book event at the top of the year. I think I had like 3 books. I was like, yeah, I'm in here. I didn't know nothing. And they were so kind to me. They were so nice.
I'm coming to your table at the Boozy Book Tour to get my signed copies. I'm just FYI. Because I know Shannon told me my bag that I'm supposed to bring with me is not going to be big enough. And I have a feeling that she's right.
Hey. So yeah, that's what I have coming up. Release in December, book event in January, and then with y'all, is it October, September?
She is going to be in Charlotte at the Boozy Book Tour in Charlotte.
Yes. Which month is that?
Hold on, don't let me lie.
I think it's October.
Charlotte is August 31st.
August.
Yeah, next year.
When
is it? October?
I have no idea. Okay, so I'm doing that. I'm gonna get it together.
Plug your book. It just came out. Make sure they get it.
Yes, Daddy's Maybe is about 2 high school sweethearts, Destiny and Xavier, who lose touch. He moves back to their small town, and their chemistry, the attraction is still fire, even though they're married. And then once he moves back, there's like this speculation and questions about who fathered Destiny's oldest child. Daddy's Maybe. It's another sweet heat. Download it. Thank y'all so much because it did chart at number 13. So I am grateful for that. Read them pages, download, share, all the things.
Book.